Hey all, my name is Kurt, and this is Trent. Welcome to SLB Basement Bourbon Bar in Trenton. I just got one question for you. What did you get me into today?
You're the one that put them all out here.
You're the one that said you wanted to do them all.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. We're going to go over everybody's asked for it.
To be fair, I forgot how many Michters products there were.
Yeah.
I was thinking of these guys. I forgot about the Bombergers. I forgot about the Shanks, this one.
When I started putting them together last night, I was
You
like...
were worried?
And then I would start remembering, oh, we got these. Oh, yeah, we got that. But there's a ton of people been asking for a Michters distillery review.
Here you go.
We've thought no other better way than to split it up in bourbon and rye. So our next video will be Michters rye because we think it's pretty good and we don't want to miss it.
Yeah, Michters.
So we are going to do the Michters rye on the next show.
Michters ryes are up there with some of the really great ryes out there. So don't miss Wednesday's video.
Right.
But we have 8 bourbons to review, and I'm worried. So let's get started.
I know, I am too. Before we get in there, just a quick word of thanks. Thank you to all that participated and joined us for our very first charity live stream this past Friday. God bless you all. We raised a ton of money. Trent will be posting it as soon as we get an accurate number, but it was a lot of money. And thanks to the goodness and the charity and the generosity of our community, we thank you for that from the bottom of our hearts. All right, buddy, you ready to get going?
Yep.
Very first one. Now this is one of the core releases. This is their just their straight bourbon, Kentucky straight bourbon.
Okay.
All right. This one is 91.4 proof, and it's going to run you about $40 to $45 somewhere in that general range.
And I don't think I've had this.
You know
I haven't had this or the American whiskey, so I'm excited.
I have not had this other than a little nip last night putting the show together.
I see it is new. But it smells like bananas, though.
It does. Almost has that Jack Daniels note with the bananas.
Jack Daniels has a banana note? Mm. It almost reminds me of Old Forester a little bit. I like the palate, though.
You do?
I do.
It is pretty good. I get some honey.
What's the 91 proof?
91.4 proof, and I will say this right now. Michters is absolutely one of my favorite distilleries for lower proof whiskeys.
They do a really good job.
Really good job. I can't count how many times I've recommended to folks that are just getting into the bourbon to start out with a bottle or so here of Michters, of their lower proof stuff.
Interesting. When I give recommendations, it's always like Wild Turkey and like those ones. I didn't think about Michters though. Well, Michters isn't the cheapest beginner bourbon. That's my only knock.
Yeah.
But it is really good with the low proof, and that's a solid bourbon. It's a little bitter at the end though. And
I'm glad you said that because that's the only thing I've got too. I've got some, there's a little bit of sweetness there. There's some honey. There's a bit of cinnamon in there too for me, but it seems like it's a bit young and it's pretty astringent, and there's some bitterness there, mid palate and into the back. It kind of I get that. It's pretty good, but yet
yeah, you get that.
And what really kills me on that one, it's like $40.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah. To me, I wish it was around the $20 range, to be quite truthful with you.
Solid $20.
That would be a solid starter bourbon. So, anyways, let's move on now. Trenton just picked this up not long. Or this is one you actually had.
This was like a year or two ago, maybe even longer. Yeah.
Last year.
Oh, it was last year.
Yep. So this is their Kentucky straight bourbon toasted. So this is the toasted, right?
Yep.
It's also 91.4 proof, so it carries the proof. It just has a toasted finish to it.
Wow, that's a lot different. You still get the banana, though. It's like a banana, cinnamon, maple, syrupy kind of something.
I'm digging the nose.
The nose is fantastic. I hope it kind of transfers to the palate.
Yeah, you could tell it's toasted on the nose, but it gives you that marshmallowy type nose.
So I'll say that I have had this when we first got it. I tried it. Wasn't a big fan. Mm-hmm. I gotta be honest, especially for the price point, and the toasted rye is... sets the bar real high for the toasted products, I think. And this, we'll get to this later, but I kind of dig it a little bit more now than I did when it first opened.
This is about $100. That's what you told me, so I didn't mention that before. So it's about $100. I have to be honest and say I'm not really digging it so much.
Fair enough.
I still get the astringency and the bitterness in the back end. I do like the front palate because it lends to that toasted finish a little bit.
Yeah.
But I can't say it's quite my favorite, though. We've had quite a few toasteds come down here in the last 6 months, and that would definitely not rank in my top 5.
I'll agree. I think that the toasted kind of takes down that bitter note, because there's still like a oaky, tannin, bittery note there, and I think the toasted kind of steps that bitterness down a little bit. It's still there, but it wouldn't be in my top 5, my top 10, or probably even my top 15 toasteds. But it's a solid option if you have a chance to buy one.
And I 100% agree that toasted does kind of knock that down quite a bit. But I guess I always translate also to what we're paying for that bottle.
Yeah, true.
That's all.
Fair enough.
All right, let's move it on down. This is the sour mash, Trenton. Michter's sour mash, and I will tell you this, you probably don't even know this. This is the very first bottle I ever hunted. It won
sour mash? What hunted? You can buy 5 cases of this right now.
You couldn't then. There won some kind of awards. You couldn't find it anywhere.
For real?
And I finally found it, and I was so excited about it.
About a year ago at Binny's, which is a big liquor chain in Chicago, these were in their allocated case a year ago, and they were $100.
That's what I'm telling you. $100.
Yeah.
This is about $40, $45 like the rest of them. And I didn't pay $100 for the one I found either. Yeah. It was basically $40, $45.
Unless it was the toasted that I didn't understand the label about and passed on it. That would make a lot more sense.
That's possible.
This is the lowest proof out of all these, isn't it?
Yes, it's 86 proof.
Okay.
86 proof.
I don't recall getting like a banana bread from Michter's products, but I'm really getting that today. I had banana cake last night for dessert, but I don't think it's translating into today. That's the weird thing.
Mm-hmm. I have to tell you, Trent, this is one of my favorites. This is one of my favorite Michters. It really is. Now, it's not a bourbon, and it's not a bourbon because it's more than likely a little bit lower than the 50% corn that's required in the mash bill. So it's going to roughly be pretty close with rye and corn, and the rest being barley. But this is my first sip of bourbon, Trent, and I'm going to tell you. So this is some of my history here. This is my first sip of bourbon that I actually picked out butterscotch as a note.
What?
I loved it. And I still think to me it has that butterscotch, it's got a little bit of vanilla, and and then some honey that's pretty. For me, that honey kind of translates to a lot of the Michters bourbon.
I can see a little butterscotch.
Yeah, I like it. It's good for $45 for that lower proof. I recommend this quite a bit to a lot of folks just getting started.
This is the first time I've had the sour mash, and I like it.
And being higher rye, it doesn't bite you.
No,
it just does not.
I wouldn't guess it's a high rye based on you get a little rye there at the end, but. I feel like you get that with a lot of bourbons. I
like it a lot. So let's taste the toasted.
You tried this during the live show and I didn't.
Yes, correct. Let's taste the toasted. This one again is about $100 and it carries the same proof point at 86 proof.
Man. Okay, what's that nose? What do you get?
Don't tell me Sharpie.
No, I'm not getting Sharpie from this
You're
one.
gonna get Sharpie again because it's not. I don't get no Sharpie. I hate to try to figure out what's in your head.
Is it maple or is it butterscotch? I can get those confused sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's more towards the butterscotch type. Maybe a little bit of syrupy in their action too. It's definitely nice and sweet on the nose.
Very sweet.
I don't really catch a lot of the toasted on the nose as we did with the Kentucky Straight Bourbon toasted.
Ooh. That is a really nice toast flavor you get from that.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
I like this a lot better than I do the toasted on the Kentucky Straight Bourbon.
So
a lot better.
And for those who aren't up to speed with Michters and their allocated releases, the Sour Mash was last released in 2019. And then they released it again this year. So there was a 3-year span where this didn't come out.
Oh, okay.
So I was really trying to get this one this year, and Harry from B Liquors hooked me up because I was telling him, like, I've been looking for this since it came out in 2019. And that's kind of when I first started hunting a little bit and getting into it. But it was long gone by the time
I wasn't aware of that at all. And you know this stuff. He knows this stuff. I really don't. He knows. But the same flavor profile on the palate kind of carries through with this, but it lends a really nice. It's not an overbearing toasted finish, is what I like a lot about it. It's kind of mellow, and it kind of just interweaves with the rest of the. Just like that.
It's swimming.
Just check it out, just like that, and it kind of just weaves right in there with the notes you get on the palate for the flavor. I like it.
That's good.
I like it a lot.
Good. Also $100.
Also $100.
Also $100.
Also $100. This is my favorite.
For real?
Yep. Of the lower ends.
Okay.
This is my favorite.
All right.
I have to say that.
Interesting.
I've had quite.
I didn't know that.
I've had these Michters down here for quite a long time, and these aren't my first bottles. But I always tell people in the lower proofs that when I recommend for people starting in their bourbon journey for the sour mash and for this American whiskey. This is the Michters American whiskey. It's 83.4 proof. Okay, and again, it's $40 to $45. It's kind of a common theme.
Oh, so this is the lowest of all.
Well, you're right. My apologies. My apologies. Yes, this is the lowest one, 83.4. Now, this one's not a bourbon either, Trent. This is whiskey, and the only reason is because they actually aged it in used bourbon barrels, which I think is why it lends to a little bit more flavor on the palate.
Ooh, dude, that's good.
It's so good. And the nose, this is the first nose that I get so far that, I mean, I just barely nosed it, and you get those fruits.
Yeah.
You definitely get fruits up in the nose.
I will say, and
a little caramel.
This is on the shelves everywhere around us, and I've looked at it, and I've kind of passed it up. I don't know why, but I see whiskey, and I'm like, oh, that might not be as sweet as I usually like, but man, this is a solid bottle. I really like it. I mean, it's not a in-your-face, aggressive flavor profile. But it's to me, it's beautiful. It's caramel, it's vanilla, and it has some orchard fruits in there too. Oh, orchard fruits.
Absolutely.
That's solid.
It is. And I get the orchard fruits towards the back of the palate.
It's on the back, yeah.
On the front, I get that sweetness with the caramel and vanilla. This is my favorite of the lower end Michters lineup.
Okay.
Just so you know.
All right.
All right, we're going to move on to one of the big dogs here, buddy. This is the 10-year bourbon. This is one that's highly sought after by a lot of people.
Yep.
Lots of people. So let's figure out what we have here. This one here, Trent, you're going to have to help me a little bit with the cost of this one here.
Oof.
You've been on that more than I have, and I just don't know.
Anywhere from, like MSRP, anywhere from $120 to $150, depending is usually what I've paid in the past. Now, the 2020, they did not come out with a 2022 10-year Michters, a Michters 10-year for 2022.
Is that right?
There was just a rye 10-year that came out this year. So I don't know if it's similar to like a George T. Stagg thing with Buffalo Trace that happened where they didn't release it in BTAC last year. But last year I can say that I think I paid it anywhere from $120 to $140. But price hikes, I don't know what to expect next year if they're even coming out with one next year.
I understand.
But this is the 2019.
Yes.
This is a 2019.
My bottle's a 2019.
I have a 2020 at home and a 2021 at home.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
I get confused with all the releases.
I mean, I know I paid close to $100 for that, but again, that was
a couple years ago.
Yeah, a little while ago. But I love the nose. It's just quintessential bourbon on the nose for me.
It's fruity.
Yeah, and it lends some fruit too as well.
It's like you just dropped this in a thing of Fruit Loops.
It's nice. It's really nice.
Wow, that's unlike any nose I've had. And I'll say I wasn't super impressed with the 2021 10-year. I thought it was a little bit bitter, and I thought it was really oaky. But I've never tried the 2019.
Ooh. Boy, that is good.
Holy moly! This is the best Michters 10-year I've had. 94.4
proof. I failed to say that. 94.4 proof. But you get a little spice there too. I mean, there's a little bit of a spice note there, just a little bit. For being 94.4 proof, that's what I'm saying. It's not like we're drinking Kool-Aid. Some of it that really, lower stuff.
It tastes like it. It's Kool-Aid.
To you?
Yeah.
Well, you're getting used to that high. You must drink all high proof at home. That's all I got to say.
It's only 94 though.
I think I drink too much scotch. It's around 92.
I do drink a lot of higher proof stuff at home.
Yeah, you do. But I really love this. What do you get out of it, pal?
I think it's some kind of fruit. Honestly, I normally joke around with my notes, but it's like a mishmash of different fruits.
It is.
I can't quite tell what it is, but it's fantastic. And the releases in terms of their nosing and flavor profiles will differ from year to year. So the ones I have at home smell and taste nothing like the 2019.
This has got like a mixed berry notes. For the fruit. But it still has some caramel and vanilla there too to kind of round everything out. You're right, but he's right. The dominant flavor is that fruit note.
You ever had a LaCroix?
Oh, absolutely.
It's like a mixed berry LaCroix. Like the flavors aren't super predominant, but they're there.
Yes.
And it's not artificial either, but it's like a whisper
really
of like a berry kind of thing.
Good job. Wow. The boy's grown up right before my eyes.
I bet you if you look on like a review site, they're not going to mention LaCroix.
They are not. You're still working on that whiskey taster of the year, aren't you?
The judges or whoever are going to be just blown away with the plethora of notes that
You
I
know
have
what?
coming.
I'm supporting you all the way.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Supporting you all the way. Let's move on. We got so many to get through here. Bombergers. All right. Now, Trent, this Bombergers is the only higher proof that we have out here on the bar top today. It's 108 proof.
Okay.
All right. Now, it is the straight Kentucky bourbon. This Bombergers. Okay. I think it's Bombergers Declaration, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep,
is the full name for it. 108 proof. So you know that. And this one is about $100. This is one of their special releases. It kind of gives homage to the heritage of the Michters distillery.
These are usually like fall-ish, early fall releases, and they come out once a year.
Love the nose.
Wow.
Brown sugar.
What
molasses.
year is this?
That one would be the 2021.
Okay.
Brown sugar molasses.
That's nice.
Really nice.
That's wild going from these lower proofs up to this one. But man, do you get a lot of flavor from that.
That higher proof really does it justice. Does it not?
It does. It really
does.
brings out some nice flavor.
It just amplifies those beautiful flavors that you find in. You have to use your hands. That's what
I
you have
don't
to learn.
I don't ever use
You
my
have to
hands.
do that once in a while, like this and this. You know, you have to.
You're like, hit me over here.
But it does. It amplifies the flavors.
It does.
It really does. I mean, that higher proof. For the majority of these Michters bottles have some fantastic flavor profiles, and that just ratchets it up because of the proof. I mean, for me, you definitely get that brown sugar, the caramel. There's a little bit of charred oak in there that you really don't get with a lot of these because of the lower proof and whatnot. But then that oak really shines through in that Bombergers for me, too.
The oak is really nice in there, I will say.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's like a really nice, I'd say like a burnt caramel or something in there. A little
Perfect.
bit. I love it.
Perfect. All
I
right.
haven't had this in a while.
I know. We need
Solid.
We need to have that more often.
Yeah,
Last but not least, the bottle you got for me here not too long ago, Shank's.
Oh, this year's?
Yeah, that's this
thanks,
year's.
Harry.
Yep. Shank's Homestead. Now, this is actually the sour mash, Trent. So this.
Oh, this is a sour mash?
This isn't really a bourbon. Again, this is the sour mash. Okay. This one is. This one's not.
I learned something new today. I didn't know that the Shanks was a sour mash. Wow.
Absolutely love that.
What's the proof difference between this sour mash and this sour mash?
91.2, and I'm sorry, I have them wrote down because there's no way I can memorize all of them. 86 is the proof here. Over here it's 91.2.
So it's like the Big Brother sour mash.
Kind of. You're still a little bit lower proof, but yet more than the sour mash. But the nose is just fabulous. Brings out the fruit a little bit too in the nose.
Bro. I will say the front palate is better than the mid palate, but the finish is spectacular. It's really sweet.
Now, I want to ask you, because in tasting these last night, as you know I do.
Oh, you tasted these last night?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Wait, we had the live stream last night.
No.
No, we didn't.
No.
Oh, today's Sunday. Never
Correct. So, anyways, I really love the red fruit. I get some red fruit in the front of that palate. I can
see that.
I love it. You can call it apple or strawberry, but there's definitely some red fruit.
Strapple.
There's some red fruit in there that's just a snapple, something like that. But to me, and then it goes in a little bit of caramel, but then towards the mid palate back into the back end of the finish, it's like baking spices come out. And I gotta have one more of that.
That's spectacular.
It's really, really good.
I prefer the Shanks over the Bombergers, I think.
Well,
the flavor's nice and bold in the Bombergers, but
let's finish up by giving me what your favorites are. So you led into that question. So just give us a rough, 30-second rendition of what Trenton's favorites would be that's on the bar top.
So if I had to pick like maybe my top three, and these are in no particular order, I'd go with the toasted sour mash because that's unbelievable. This 10-year, the 2019, and then the Shanks would be
nice.
In terms of my favorite
nice.
like core-ish release, I'd probably go with the American Whiskey with you because that's incredible.
Yeah, and on the bar top, the core releases are the Kentucky Straight Bourbon, the Sour Mash, and the American whiskey. So those are the core releases. Other than that, we'll get into the rye next week. The straight rye.
Next week or this?
I apologize.
This
the next video.
Next video.
Yeah. So for me, Trenton, I've got some. There's some fondness for me when I first started into bourbon with what's on the bar top today. There really, really is. Michters has a special place in my heart. So the sour mash and the American whiskey are very special to me, and I love them both. I have to say I'm not a huge fan of the toasteds. I would much prefer the sour mash toasted over the Kentucky Straight Bourbon toasted by far. But past that, I love the Shanks. I love the Shanks. Bomberger's right up there in the 10-year. You can just flip a coin between those two. But past that, once you get past the Shanks, the Bombergers and the 10-year, I just love the sour mash and the American whiskey. I just, it's just they will always hold that special place.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Hey, that's all we got for you today. We tried to get through it as quick as we could. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you for watching. So thank you for that. Hope you enjoyed this Michters Distillery review. As always, we ask you to please drink responsibly, and we'll see you next time where we go over Michters Rye.
It's going to be a good one.
That's going to be a good one. Hey, take care. See you later.